Hello all, welcome to Ambari Cloud YouTube channel. Part of 108 recipes book, we documented the Iceberg Runbooks. Before you migrate to production and make sure you test and document every runbook use case. Let's say, for example, you dropped a table, how to fix it, or you ran expert snapshot, how to fix it. So make sure you test every combination, and at the same time, some of the runbooks are different for different tables, but as a whole, you need to document. So why are runbooks are essential, right? And because some of the complex operation procedures, right? For example, later having table files. Then then let's say suddenly somebody dropped a table, and then you move from one organization to another organization, right? And then standard maintenance, weekly, daily, depends on your use case. So you need to establish best practices, right? And then knowledge share, then of course audit compliance, right? If you look at here, standardization, because once you have a runbook, any issue, then you review with runbook documentation, follow the steps. So then you should able to repetitively can do exactly same thing whenever there is an issue. Then having a runbook, anyone can take over that runbook document and then can fix the issues and then basically minimize the downtime. Of course, knowledge sharing. Runbook really allows you to share the whole procedures of restore or whatever related to that particular use case. Everybody can able to do it with knowledge share. And then it's easy to onboard new team, right? And the runbooks are sometimes needed for audit compliance. Okay, if somebody want to review, okay, what are the steps you are taking? If there is an issue, then you need to document step by step. So there are the in general runbooks, right? It fits for many of the tables, but some tables, like for example streaming, or you want to do CDC or later viewing files, those kind of tables you might have to build a special runbooks. Okay, so basically it's for troubleshooting, maintenance, uptime, smooth operations. So these are the things we need to build a runbooks, right? So what are the runbooks you are looking at in Iceberg Open Lakehouse architecture? Before, as I said, before we go to production, and once you complete all migration testing, then any other operations like rewrite data files and all that stuff, then you need to start documenting each and every procedure, and then then need to be approved before you actually migrate to the Open Lakehouse Iceberg into the production. Okay, so what are the runbooks? Oops, I dropped a table, right? And so here somebody accidentally dropped a table, how to restore. Or oops, I truncated a table and somebody truncated the table, and how to restore if somebody does that. And then more often we may do accident deletes of the metadata files or some data. So what are the backup procedures, right? How to do backup and how to restore. And while you're doing the backup, what are the precautions you need to follow. So common issue I see in some areas is when you copy files, timestamp changes. Make sure that the timestamp stays as is when you do backup of the files, because if the timestamp changes, it's difficult to restore because the checksum value changes and we cannot restore it. And then, or what if someone deletes the latest metadata file? If you have a backup, you can restore it, but what if we don't have a backup, right? And how to restore your table? We need to practice this. Expert snapshot, basically to reduce the time travel distance, and also maintain the disk space, reduce the disk space. We run the expert snapshot. And when you do expert snapshot, we will maintain, okay, I need previous 4 snapshots or whatever time travel required. But if you accidentally ran a time expert snapshot, how to fix that problem? Then if you have a later arriving file architecture, and then how to attach those later arriving files to your table. So you need to look at this runbook. And orphan files, right? Okay, let's say Spark executor fails or whatever reason, you have orphan files and you need to delete those orphan files. But at the same time, what if you are not able to delete the orphan files? Because based on your catalog, sometimes you may have issues. You need to look at that, you need to test it, make sure it's fully documented. And I had problem with deleting orphan files in Polaris catalog, and I have to test it and document. So I documented that one in our book. Then rewrite files, right? Let's say if you have a Spark streaming or through Kafka or whatever, and you have too many small files, and then you have a sort issues, and you want to do G-ordering, anything you want to compact files, then you need to do rewrite. But when you do rewrite, you need to make sure the rewrites are different between copy and write, which is cow table, merge and read, more table. You need to document that one. Okay, so it's not that rewrites are not same cow table or more tables. Okay, and then you have too many metadata files. As you keep on committing more often, and then it reaches to more than 100 metadata files, and then how to fix that, deleting the old metadata files. That's what you need to build a runbook on it. Then common, most important, right? Optimizing your table partitions, right? Each table part for a given table, partitions are different sizes based on the day of the week or month or whatever, and then some partitions are bigger, some partitions are smaller, and then some partitions have more small files. So you need to start looking at and what are the things you need to do partition resize, right? And so for that, is there any, then also look at the query patterns, right? Then are you looking at frequent update deletes, and do you have too many small partitions and then too many small files? Those things you need to start looking at. Then start building some automation monitoring on it, like start collecting the partition size, distribution, number of files, and query execution time. You might have a standard queries and start checking in a more often same query how long it is taking any particular partition. So start building those, and then based on that, then you might be doing expert snapshot, compact files. And so here, the small method here give the partition size, and then it gives the partition information. So start looking at, check down the fragmented files, queued partitions, and then do you need to rerun the sorting, and what kind of sort, and then do you need a ascending and descending order, and what keys? Then those strategies you need to build it. And again, you have to test it before, right? And every combination, otherwise in production sometimes it's very difficult to identify if there is an issue, right? Okay, as I said, managing small files, Iceberg tables, then I documented step by step here. And by the way, every run book has a recipe in this book, so start looking at. Okay, and then you have too many delete files, right? How? Because in a more table, if you are doing a lot of updates and deletes, then you need to look at how to rewrite that particular partition or particular table. Okay. Then, of course, as you are having too many updates and deletes, then you have too many manifest files. Then you need to run manifest rewrites. Now, when you execute a rewrite data files, automatically manifest files also rewritten. However, rewriting data files is expensive, right? Sometimes it's difficult in a daily basis. You might be doing less often in some tables, but rewriting manifest files is faster. So you can design in such a way, maybe weekly rewrite data files, then maybe daily manifest files. Again, depends on the volume of the table or size of the partition. If it is a partition, then you can do rewrites of data files by partition easily. So look at how to do rewrite data files by table, by partition in one of the recipe here. Then you have too many snapshots, right? Then basically, if you have obviously have too many snapshots, then which will add a lot of space, right? Then your metadata JSON is going to explode. Basically bloating here. I use the word bloating, right? So you need to look at that one. Then how long you need to go to time travel? Do you need to go back to Big Bang? No, right? So Then if there is no need of time travel, then start looking at expiring, keep only one snapshot, most recent snapshot. So again, every table, then you need to document by table what is a run book also eventually. Once you build all the run book, then you need to document one more run book. Okay, table customer, these are the run books we need to do. Table address, these are run books you need to document table by table. So that way, anybody looking at, okay, if there is an issue in a particular table, and then look at that table, what are the run books we need to look at it, right? And as I said, this is a step-by-step procedure. If you delete a latest metadata JSON, this is most common problem I see in Apache Spark Slack. Okay. Then when you do backups, right? If you do backups, and let's say if you do a backup server for on-prem HDFS cloud era, it's easy. Just you copy files from your primary server to backup server, then they have the same directory structure, and then you can sync up your metadata also, and you sync up your metadata catalog, your Hive tables, Hive metadata. But when you're doing in the cloud, right, when you copy files from one bucket to another bucket, right? So here you need to look at two strategies. One is, do you want have a backup directory where you're gonna whenever if issues you're gonna restore from the backup directory, or do you want a backup strategy in such a way that all the files moving into different bucket? Then how do you restore it? You need to practice those. So in cloud, the Iceberg will the relative paths, right? So you need to, when you copy from bucket A to bucket B, then you need to the tables will not be attached simply, right? You need to build a procedure, add files procedure, how to do that, right? Particularly, so the two strategies in the backup, right? One strategy, and then cloud, and then only for just backup for restore, or you want to have another bucket, another region, how to do backups. So you need to develop those strategies here. Okay. So those things, look for how to do different strategies for your tables run book, right? And again, keep in mind every table is different, right? Some of the tables are more tables, some of the cow tables, some of the tables streaming, and some tables need a longer time travel. So those things you need to look at it. Okay. Any questions? Reach out to me, and then I can help you guys. Thank you. Bye now.